Perfect. Okay, so we'll get right into the panel. So, hi everyone, my name is Harja Skurwal. I'm a human rights activist, a Diana Award recipient, and a Columbia University master's student. And today in the panel, we have Sophie Demensky, who's a business advisor for Stop Ecocide International, head of public policy and UK country manager for Ecocide. We also have Princess Esmeralda of Belgium, who's a journalist, author, and keynote speaker. And further, we have Jojo Mehta, who's the co-founder and executive director for Stop Ecocide International. And I'll get right into the panel. So my first question is for Jojo. What is Ecocide and what is the legal route you are pursuing to address it?
Hi there. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
Thank you. So ecocide is becoming understood as mass destruction of nature. And what we aim to do with our advocacy organization is encourage global cross-sector support for making ecocide an international crime. In other words, to have ecocide join war crimes, genocide, and crimes against humanity as amongst the most serious crimes that the world has to deal with.
Thank you. So the next question is for Sophie. How urgently do we need this law today?
Yeah, thank you for that question. I mean, it will come as no surprise to you that my answer to that would be yesterday. Really, we needed this law. In fact, the term ecocide was first coined over 50 years ago in Stockholm. So it's been kind of a long time coming, and I think now we have this fantastic opportunity, this unique opportunity to really kind of push ahead and have it implemented and adopted at the International Criminal Court. In the time that it was first kind of mentioned as an idea, a lot of destruction has happened to the environment, and we find ourselves now, in ecological collapse and climate collapse. And we really do need not only this law, but absolutely this law, but a number of other regulations now to come to the front. And here in New York, we're in a number of conversations around exactly that. So it's refreshing to hear that actually ecocide and other regulations and laws are now being considered. So we absolutely need this. This needed to have happened many years ago, and it needs to happen absolutely now because we are running out of time.
For sure. Thank you for that. So, Princess Esmeralda, how worried are you about the state of the world, and what is it going to take to really manifest global action?
Well, I think, like everybody else, very scared. It's in front of our eyes. We have only to look at what's happening in Pakistan, where people are dying in thousands. And it's also in our country, in Europe. I think the climate crisis is really the biggest threat to humanity. People are dying, our world is collapsing, also the loss of biodiversity. So it's absolutely urgent to have ecocide as a crime against humanity. And as Sophie said, and many other regulation, of course.
Thank you. That was very well put. So, Jojo, don't we already have environmental protection laws? And what difference will this specific law make?
We absolutely have environmental laws, but as we can see, they're actually not proving adequate to the drastic nature of our situation. And of course, most environmental laws sit in the regulatory sphere. And that means that big companies effectively, they kind of budget for dealing with court cases. Whereas when you bring in something on the criminal side and you're actually bringing in some personal responsibility, what you're creating is a level of deterrence and a level of prevention, because if you're pausing with your hand over the dotted line with its pen, you're going to be thinking very carefully about what you sign if what you're about to decide is threatening a level of damage that could be considered an international crime. So it adds a whole nother dimension, and it also really supports the environmental laws that are in place that are not being well enforced enough. It creates a kind of foundation that's missing. I mean, if you're campaigning for human rights, at least you know that mass murder and torture and forced disappearance, these are all serious crimes. But in the environmental arena, that foundational piece is still missing. And that is what Ecocide can provide.